send the release. I don't think that needs a whole thing. Just send it. Make sure
Well,
you didn't misspell anything.
yeah, you do have to send it. You have to send it right, and you have to. I would say if you're sending it, you either want to send it through a service or you want to. You don't want to just bulk email people. Do not CC everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people will do that too. Don't do
A
that
lot of
kind of
times
thing.
they'll reject it too. Like just their email will reject it if it's a whole lot of other people in it that aren't like connected or at all. This is episode 103 of the Arts Academy podcast with Victor Varnado and Roxxy Haze. How to send a press release.
Everybody, welcome to the Arts Academy podcast. It's me, Dean Victor Varnado. I'm here with
Headmistress Roxxy
Headmistress
Haze.
Roxxy Haze. Welcome back.
Welcome. Nice to see you again. Let me see if I can turn my camera on this time and it'll work. Let's see.
Ooh,
For a little bit.
Your eyebrows.
Hey, I need them done. They're so bad.
I wasn't saying anything about them. I was just saying
I am. I'm Helga Pataki right now. That unibrows coming in kind of thick, but not as thick as this episode. Sending out a press release. You like that?
This episode is super thick. So you've written your press release. This is the Arts Academy podcast, everybody. This is the podcast where we talk about everything that has anything to do with the entertainment industry and how to get things done, nuts and bolts, the mechanics, everybody. We don't teach you how to do anything necessarily except the mechanics of being yourself. All right. Being an artist. The mechanics of being an artist, actually.
I like that.
Now, previously, we had an episode about a press release, which is a fun thing to use to tell people exactly what you're doing and where to go and how to get there, which not a lot of people use. But once you do have your press release, which everyone knows you need, then what do you do with it? That's the question we're going to answer today. Huh, Roxy?
Yeah, because I have no idea. I was just sending it loosely. So I'm excited for this episode.
You're just sending the press releases loosely?
Very loose. I don't know if I did it right or not. So I'll find out in this episode.
Well, who did you send it to?
I was just Googling publications and names and stuff. I sent it to like some different blogs and stuff. Some nerd blogs, because that's my typical audience.
I think you were doing the exact right thing, though.
Oh, was I?
Yeah, I really do. I think you're doing the exact right thing, because I think that in some cases you just hunt people down that you really want to send stuff, and you send it to them. You make personal contact. I feel like when you are a person who like doesn't have like a lot of connections or notoriety yet, you're not going to get the automatic attention. Because for me, when I send out a press release, when it gets into a publication usually, or gets into something big, it is either through personal contact with that person or sending it out from an organization that's big. So like if I have a big organization send out a press release, then that's a way to do it. By the way, this is a press release hack that I think everyone should do. If you have someone come on your project as a sponsor, and they're a big name, even if they're a big name and they're not giving you 1 cent, something that you can do is ask them to send out a press release, because if they agree, you can actually just give them like in participation for free, but ask them to send out a press release, because involve them, make them feel like they're part of the process, and then they're getting this great thing for free. So by the time you get to the point where you ask them to send out a press release, they will. They definitely will. It doesn't cost them anything, and it helps you greatly.
Yeah, that's smart.
So yeah, I mean, and it really does help. So I was working with a charity organization. I was working with a charity organization. They were sponsoring me by giving me a space, and they gave me a space to have a gallery exhibit. I they didn't give me any money or anything like that, but I kept treating them really, really nice. And at one point when I wrote this press release and wrote nice things about them in the press release, and then I said, hey, I have a press release. Would you mind sending it out to your network? And they were like, we'd love to. And they were so happy because I delivered to them a press release that they didn't have to write. And then they sent it out to all of their connections, and I got on NBC. So,
oh dang, okay,
exactly. Hack that, hack it, hack the system. I wonder what's going to happen when the Book of Fire turns this episode into.
It's going to be hack the system, and I'm a wild card.
You are. I'm a wild card. All right. So, talk about you have an outline that you wrote for this. So talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. So wait, we already did the preparation part. You got the press release. You got all that stuff together. Then the next thing is kind of what we're talking about. Identify your target media outlets. So figure out who you want to send this thing to. So kind of what I did was I used ChatGPT and I asked for like all the LA publications that talk about comedy. And then I got a list and I literally just Googled each one and I would try to find somebody on LinkedIn that was a journalist for there, or I would go through the articles and find the name of that person. Usually when you click on the name of the person, their email or contact information is there. So that's how I was able to identify my target media outlets, and then just some different blogs that I read or have heard of. I looked up different like nerd blogs or blurred blogs and made a list of those people too. How do you usually identify your target?
I start usually by who can I get to. Easiest. It really is just like, especially if you have a project that's really generally pretty good. It's not a bad project. You really just need the right person to listen to you. And so it's always about whose ear can I get easiest rather than that's even higher priority than who specifically is this meant for the most, just because it's better for me to follow the easiest route to get that press release to be actually used and create a story and some sort of news piece than it is for me to get the exact right person to love me. So like for me right now, what's important is that I do have press. And so like I will take a clip from anywhere, but it's all good because the more I do that, then the next time that I go out then I'll be able to like link to articles about me. Then so the next press release will get in a bigger place, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, like right now, the NBC was a very big get for me press wise. And then now that helped me get NPR recently. And so it does build up. Just, I would say just
use
get
who
any
you know
story,
already.
anything printed, because then that also becomes something that you can tweet out to people and it helps legitimize like anything. Like I would say if you have zero press, hit the big people, yes, but then hit the really small people and just even enthusiastic blogs, hit them up just because maybe they'll write about it.
Yeah,
definitely. Then okay, so we did talk a little bit about personalizing outreach.
Is that something you focus on a lot?
Yeah, I do, but I want to hear about how you did it in the past.
So I've only sent out this one, so I'm only pulling from that experience. I tried to make sure when I was sending out the press release, I was actually putting somebody's name, and not just to whom it may concern. And then I would try to change in the email, because I was sending out the press release, like the PDF, but then like an introductory email a little bit at the top. And I would just try to make sure that I was putting like how this event's kind of correlates with the publication itself. So one thing, one of the ones I reached out to was blur.com. and I the show that I'm doing is a fan fiction show. So it's comedians writing fan fiction and then reading it. So I just connected with like, yeah, you know, in the nerd community, like fan fiction is huge. It's not super duper popular mainstream, but it's funny and it's fun and it's a way for like the Black comedians to showcase their talents. So I was able to connect it with, you know, being Black with also with nerddom for that specific publication.
Right.
And they're actually going to do some write up about it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if this is part of this or not, but I have my friend that's my assistant, but not my assistant. I had her send it from the email I made for her instead of me just sending it. Do you see if you get more reaction when it's not directly sent from? Well, it might be different from you because you have a production company.
I do have a production company, so but it is. I mean, I think it's better. But here's the truth. I have no idea whether or not it affects the person receiving it, if it's from you or a fake name you made up. I've done the fake name thing before, and it wasn't really that big of it. Actually, you know what? When I'm trying to make a personal connection, it's always worked better if it's just from me. Even before I had a production company. Mm-hmm. Even before then. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's always worked better if it was just like from me. But then I don't even think I've ever gotten a response back from a fake name thing.
I get so much more response when it's from the fake name than I do.
Oh, you do?
For me.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, which is crazy.
That's
but
awesome.
I think it might be because my name is Roxxy Haze. So they're like, this could be porn or something. I don't know. But yeah, I get more for some reason.
Yeah. All right.
It's weird.
I feel it. I feel it.
And then we go to the next one. It'll just reject it. I was sending them individually.
You should. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Always send them one at a time, and then make sure. I would if I were you, I would also write a very personal email for each person.
Mm-hmm. Do you send physical press releases? Like, do people still do that? Like, mail out a press release?
I don't think so. I think that if you send a physical press release, these days. If you send a physical press release these days, it better be like a stunt. like if it's like a stunt. Yeah, if it's not like, yeah, I don't think you would mail a press release, but maybe, who knows? But I don't think so.
I'm gonna try it and see if it works.
Oh, good luck. Good luck. And then
you follow up.
Yeah, of course you follow up. There is the standard sequence for following up. So there's like a standard sales sequence. Like you're supposed to email somebody, then follow up, and then hit them with the third email. And it's like, I think it's like 2 days in between each email. And then most of the time, people respond to the third email if they don't respond to the first one. And then but it's like a sales tactic. And it's like people straight up like use that as a 1, 2, 3 punch, and then can elevate their sales by doing that. So just saying, use that to your advantage, that information.
So what's the difference in verbiage on the second and third one?
Well, the first email is like, hey, check this thing out, blah, 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 you know. And then the second email is, hey, I tried to reach out and be nice. No, I'm kidding. The second email is just all psychotic. No, so the first email is like, hey, check this thing out. And then the second email is basically, hey, I just want to make sure you, like I sent out the email earlier, I just want to make sure that you had a chance to look at it. Mm-hmm. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And then the third email is, hey, just to make sure, I won't keep bugging you, but just to make sure, I wanted to, just check back one last time. So basically, the last email is like saying, I'm not going to bug you again. Exactly. Yeah. And then usually with that third email, if they were on the fence, they'll usually reach out to you.
Got you. Because they're like, no, don't leave me.
Yeah. And I've actually done this before and it has worked. And people have thanked me too, because sometimes people forget things. I know I do.
Yeah. Or they're busy or they haven't got to it. And that's cool. I'm going to do that. I'm going to actually do that today. Thank you. Hit them with the A. What up? And you said 2 days? I usually wait like a week or so, but no, do it quicker.
I think, I think it's like 2 days is what they say is the the time, because like that is, it's like 2 business days, you know.
That's enough time for you to
business
check
days.
this email.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
that busy.
Yeah.
And then
For real.
the last thing says evaluate results. So just check and see who reached out. Well, I guess that would be like the 2 days thing. So like if you don't get a response back, see who responded, see who didn't respond. Sometimes they want more quotes or sometimes they want more information. So make sure you're also responding back in a timely manner.
But I think it also evaluating results is part of that, is also keeping track of what worked. For the next time, because then you'll know. Which actually reminds me, I have to send a press release for when we finally release the Magic Book of Fire.
Ooh. Are you going to use ChatGPT
to do the press release? It may be helpful.
Yeah, we need a ChatGPT sponsorship at this point. Write that down too. We're plugging y'all.
ChatGPT sponsorship. Who knows? I bet we won't get one. But I think they have other things to do. Like, we're so busy, guys. Come on.
Well, we'll send them a press release and see what they say. See how it all ties together. So I think it is do you have any other just things that you do that you think will be helpful?
I would say that for every press release, just remember that there's actually no rules to any press release. So if you are, sometimes people are just kind of ridiculous in press releases. I've often been ridiculous in press releases. If you do find something like that works, it's great.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Send out those press releases. Don't be afraid. Worst thing they can see is no or leave me alone. Just send it.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty clear. This has been the Arts Academy podcast, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. You can check us out at All Arts Academy on all social media and artsacademy.com. If you have anything that you want to know about how to do in the entertainment industry or any of the worlds that I work in at all, please just ask your question and we will try to answer it as best we can.
Sure will. Let us know in the comments below. Oh, and join our Facebook group if you're not already a member so you can catch these live. It is Arts Academy students.
You can find us at artsacademypodcast.com.